It's the property token. For today, we're on a round table. Again, this particular table can only be found at V Gallery. The wood quality alone speaks and tells the entire story. At V Gallery, you'll be spoiled for choice. And our conversation today will be indeed made possible by Jerome. Is it Jerome or Jerome? Jerome Richards. We last had you on the show, you said, about more than 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Good to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
How has COVID treated you, or have you treated COVID?
Well, my name is Richard Mukasa. I am the proprietor of Jerome Richards. It's been 17 years.
Wow.
Of the property journey, and so much has happened. Never did we ever think about COVID coming into the world. The good side of it is that people have realized that things can be done differently as opposed to when they used to be done. To me, as a property manager, I have realized that people no longer depend on, for example, when it comes to paying rent, they no longer have to go to the banks to make their deposits. They're now using agency banking. Yeah, many of them are using mobile banking. And I think because of COVID, people no longer come into our offices, to interact with us. So most of our conversations and interactions are online.
Wow.
Or by phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing entirely?
Well, it is. It is, because of course we have to, the SOPs that we have to, guard against, it works, but also it saves time. People have now seen that you need to save time. I mean, why come and, move because of, going to pay money.
So in the area of your business where you manage properties, how do you get feedback from clients, for instance, and how do you, in terms of the intersection between the client and the tenant and the landlord, how does feedback work?
Those are two sides of the coin, because I have a relationship with the tenant as my client, and then I have a relationship with the landlord. With the tenant, it's like a day-to-day kind of communication. And to the landlord, because we sign like agreements with them, so theirs is mostly on emails, and maybe once in a while a telephone call. From my experience, the people I've dealt with, they're the kinds that they give you that responsibility, and you virtually become the landlord.
Yes.
Because you do the interactions with the tenants on a daily basis.
Yes.
These ones just wait for the report.
Yes.
And I think I've done good in that.
So what kind of properties and which areas are you majorly focused on?
I am in the middle end kind of properties. I deviated from the high end. When I talk high end, I'm talking Kololo, Nakasero, Naguru, these places, Muyenga. I'm now in the middle.
And in the middle, what's the rent ranges?
Rent ranges are between 4 million shillings.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the range.
4 million ceases to be middle.
Well,
4 million
it can be because 4 million would be like a big residential home, a standalone home.
Yes.
And it's outside of the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered the conundrum of dollar versus shillings payments in terms of rent? Because most Ugandans now find it unfair to be charged in dollars when it's a shilling-led economy.
Well, in the line that I'm into, my line of business, I haven't seen that affecting my clients that much, because mine has been a shilling.
It's shillings.
It's shillings mostly. The only maybe complaints I would get would be the increments in rent.
Yes.
The increments in rent, that would be at times fair or unfair to both. It's not really an issue for the middle end. Yes.
What guides, speaking about rent or increments, what guides these increments? Of course, usually there's never, I've never heard of a story of rent being reduced, but I've always found unfair with the property managers and landlords has always been from the side of, for instance, the government fixes a particular road. Look at our area in Buziga where the express highway, they fix the road and all that. And because of that infrastructure development, the landlords get the prices high. Yet, these same landlords didn't even contribute a single dollar towards these developments. And of course, it's a free economy. The government can't regulate that. Fair or unfair? And what guides that?
Okay, what guides increments in rent?
Yes.
I think it all comes down to the relationship between, if I'm the agent and I'm dealing with the tenant, and there's a landlord in between. Now, between us, between we, the agency and the tenants, depending on how we've kept our relationship going, let me say in a contract of say 1 year that we've been dealing together, the way you pay matters a lot. that is consistent of your rent payment.
Yeah, I thought on the contrary, usually when you're regular on your payments, someone could even tend to think that you're well off and things are okay, so they should increase you.
Not really. It depends on the consistency of your rent payments. Now, it also depends on our inspections on the property. Are you keeping the property, in its right order, or you're spoiling it? It depends on also the details that you gave us when you're moving into that property. Yeah? Like how many people are going to occupy the property. If you told me you're going to be 2 and then I find 20 people in the property, obviously it will ring a bell to me. Now, to increase rent depends on that relationship that the agency has built with you. And of course, my boss, depending on how much money they've injected into the property, let's say in a given period of time, they may want to increase that rent. You understand? Now, the other issue, maybe you spoke about, you've never heard of rent going down. Interestingly, during COVID, there are some good landlords who reduced their...
Oh, is it?
Yes, they did. Some reduced that rent to almost 6 months. Like they forego...
yeah, because those two are different. Because I was about to say, at least we've had some investors like Ham cut out, say, 3 months.
Yeah.
Because cutting out, foregoing the rent and reducing the rent are two different things. I'm talking about a normal scenario whereby if rent has been $1 million and someone says, it's okay, now you can pay 800.
That is very rare. It is very rare. It's very rare, but it depends. Interestingly, there are some landlords who are not really after money. I have, let me give you a scenario. There's a school that occupied one of the properties I managed. Now, you remember schools were, they were not always all the time.
Yes.
And they had to pay a certain amount of rent. But remember, a school is also offering a service to the community. Now, the landlord of that property advised that, okay, you leave those people. You leave them for a period of, actually, he cut the rent by half for the whole period of COVID. Why? Because he wasn't really after it. He wanted the money, but then he had to bear in mind that the school is offering a service to the community.
But I'm thinking even by half was still tough for schools that were not operating.
It was, and
But at least it was something.
Yeah, it did something for them. And I'm not sure, I think it's not only that kind of landlord who did that. There are many in my line of business, residential property, who reduce, those rates in order to keep the tenants.
Yes.
Because after the period, you can see that people are starting, after this COVID issues, it's starting to go up, and yeah.
So as we get to close our conversation, as your business, what are the opportunities you're looking at? What would be your final word to the viewers out there? What is the gap that you're actually covering in the market in terms of service to the people that are watching us?
Okay, thank you very much, Edwin. Now, the gap that we are covering at Jeremy Richards, first of all, I didn't tell you, we shifted. We used to be in the central business district. We are now operating in the suburb. And part of the reasons why we moved was to extend a service that is professional to the landlords in our class, in our line.
So where are they now?
We're now at Akamwesi Mall.
Okay.
Chebando. That's where we are. And what we're bringing to the market is that we want to share our experience. I have 17 years of experience. So I'm taking that experience down to the people who have rental units or business in that nature that is in that segment, to get things organized.
Yeah.
And, it's a win-win situation for us as an agency, landlords, the government.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying.
Before we close again, for the diaspora people, how are you able to help the diaspora people?
Now, the diaspora people, we are, like I said, 17 years. We are very available to help you in case you have rental units and you're managing to reap what you sold in those properties. We are very organized people. We will handle all your tenancy issues with your tenants, with, all whatever dues you have to pay. Basically, with your eyes, you'll get to know everything. I can't really go into the details of what we do, but we are very available. We can get everything organized for you, and you'll be happy.
Thank you, Jerome, and we look forward to having an engagement with you again, probably post-COVID when all is clear again.
Thank you so much.
And on behalf of course, the technical crew, it's the Property Talk right here at V Gallery. Hope you enjoy the conversation.